Kuro gives a strange answer. Nobody knows Subaki and whoever does not know him, he wants to kill them. Suddenly, Kuro and Mahir both faint from exhaustion. After that, we see Mahir sleeping in his bed and Kuro is also sleeping beside him. Mahir quickly wakes up and goes to school, where he checks on the friend who was bitten by the vampire. But when Mahir asks about it, no one remembers anything. The friend says that the police told him he had a car accident. The people Mahir met in the market are also not remembered by his friends. This all seems very weird to Mahir. At school, he asks everyone about what is really going on. Suddenly, it starts raining, but there are no black clouds. Mahir teleports to a place where an unknown man approaches him. This man laughs at Mahir and then brings out Belkia. Belkia calls this man his master Subaki. Hearing the name Subaki, Mahir becomes alert. Suddenly, Subaki teleports right in front of Mahir and throws Kuro down. Kuro transforms into his true form. Subaki calls Kuro his elder brother. Mahir is shocked to hear this and asks if it is true. Kuro says he does not know this guy and it's the first time he is seeing him. Subaki explains that there are 7 vampires in this world, each with their own unique abilities. Among them, Kuro is the greatest and known as the Vampire of Sloth. Subaki is another true vampire, but no one has ever accepted him because he is the youngest. Then Subaki transforms into his cat form and starts messing with Mahir and Kuro. The fight intensifies. Subaki attacks Mahir in his form, but Kuro stops him using his claws. Mahir tells Kuro to drink his blood to gain some energy, but Kuro refuses. Subaki takes advantage of this and hits Kuro hard. And then Subaki lifts Mahir and says that Mahir started a war among all 7 vampires just for his own fun. Mahir realizes Subaki is mentally unstable and angrily says he will give his blood to Kuro and order him to stop all this. Subaki replies, "What if you die before that?" and prepares to kill Mahir the next morning. Kuro risks his life to save Mahir but falls to reach in time. Suddenly everything disappears and Mahir and Kuro find themselves in a different place. Mahir realizes another vampire saved his life. Suddenly 2 twins appear and say that masters want to see Mahir. Mahir does not want to go, but then a rich boy arrives and says Mahir has no choice but to get in his Lamborghini and come with him. Mahir gets in the Lamborghini and starts going with the boy, who tells Mahir that he is the master of the Vampire of Blast. The boy's name is Misano. When they reach his house, we see a butterfly who is the Vampire of Blast. Misano introduces his vampire as Snow. In the next scene, Misano feeds blood to his Vampire of Blast and summons his death side. After this, Snow's behavior completely changes. He tells Mahir that he is an idiot and does not know how to use his vampire properly. Misano offers Mahir and Kuro to become his servant, but both refuse. So he orders Snow to attack them. Snow's first attack is very difficult for both Mahir and Kuro to dodge. After that, Mahir asks, "Why are you doing all this?" But Misano refuses to explain. He says a commoner like you does not even deserve to talk to me. Hearing this, Mahir gets upset. He lifts Kuro and says, "I don't want to talk to an arrogant person like you either." As Mahir walks out, he realizes he is lost. Suddenly, many little children start picking at them from the windows. Then, suddenly Snow appears behind them and says, "They are my slaves." Shortly after, Misano also arrives and says, "If you cannot become a leader, then it's better you walk under me and help keep everyone safe." Mahir tries to understand his words and says, "Okay, I will support you, but not as a slave, as a friend." He then asks, "So, are you planning to fight with Subaki?" Misano replies, "Do you think you can defeat Subaki without any weapon?" Then Misano explains that every vampire master has the right to choose a weapon which comes from their vampire. In the next scene, Mahir is walking home with his friend when he senses something behind him, but when he turns around, no one is there. Later, Mahir asks Kuro about the weapon. Kuro says, "If you want a weapon, close your eyes." When Mahir closes his eyes, he enters a dimension inside Kuro's mind. There he meets a cat who says, "I am a part of Kuro." The cat leads him to a bunch of kit boxes and says, "Choose one weapon, but choose carefully because once selected, you cannot return or exchange it." Mahir chooses the simplest looking box to avoid conflict. As soon as he selects the box, a magical broom comes out. The moment Mahir touches the broom, he is teleported to Misano's castle. The broom flies into the air and we see a tattoo appear on the Mahir waist. He wonders what just happened, but Misano says that's your weapon mark. Mahir tries to summon the broom but falls. Then Snow says, "Think about your goal, it will make it easier." Mahir thinks about his friends as he considers them family. He tells Misano, "Someday I will introduce you to them too." In the next scene, Mahir visits his friend Sakuya, who has not come to school for 3 days. Suddenly all of Mahir's memories begin to glitch and he starts forgetting everything about about Sakuya. Before he can understand what's happening, the real Sakuya grabs him from behind and they are teleported to another place. There, Mahir and Kuro are tied up with the magical strings. Above, we see Belkia and Sakuya is standing beside him. Kuro and Mahir realize that Sakuya has now become one of Subaki's minions. Sakuya, almost in tears, says, "I trusted you, but you hide the fact that Kuro is not just a normal cat." Mahir is attacked, but Kuro somehow saves him, taking the hit himself. Kuro is now so badly injured that even drinking Mahiru's blood does not help him recover. Mahiru began to think Kuro might actually die. Just then, all the strings are cut. Misano and Snow have arrived. Snow attacks Belkia and pushes him away. Misano sees Sakuya and confronts him. Misano and Snow put Belkia in an execution chair and are about to kill him. Then Misano asks Sakuya, "Why did you do this? Mahir was just about to introduce you to me." Suddenly, Sakuya's behavior changes. He says, "I just wanted to be friends with both of you too." Hearing this, Misano lowers his guard and tells Snow to let both Sakuya and Belkia go. But as soon as they are released, Belkia, still being controlled by the strings, attacks Snow and cuts off one of his legs. Meanwhile, Sakuya stabs Misano with a knife, causing serious damage. Then Sakuya holds a knife to Mahir's neck and says, "You should have died already. After you, I will kill all of your friends one by one." Just as he is about to kill Mahir, a ghost appears from behind and stops him. The ghost whispers in his ear, "So, you want to hurt others the same way you were hurt." Suddenly, Sakuya says to Mahir, "Hurry up and kill me." But Sakuya is a friend of Mahir, so how could he want to die? Just then, Mahir's weapon starts summoning itself to punish Sakuya. Even though Mahir did not want to kill him, however, he could not control it. It was attacking Sakuya. In the end, when Sakuya was about to die, he thought to himself that it was good that his ruthless life was coming to an end. On the other hand, Mahir was flooded with a negative. Freeing Mahir out of this state, Kuro starts drinking his blood, creating a connection between them. After that, we see Kuro analyzing his hidden ability, where a massive cat shadow covers the entry area. Before Mahir could understand what was happening, he found himself in that shadow. And then we see Sakuya saying, "I just want to die. Quickly tell your vampire to kill me." Before Mahir could comprehend the situation, Kuro gets shot from behind. In this battlefield, another vampire and his master have entered the scene. The master commands his vampire to go and kill everyone, and the vampire does just that. He keeps shooting at Kuro until he transforms back into a cat. Sakuya was almost dead, but Subaki saves him with a sting. As Subaki leaves, he throws his wristband towards Mahir. The new master who came with his vampire is the Vampire of Envy. Mahir looks at him strangely because he has now stopped attacking. He picks up Kuro and hands him to Mahir and saying, "I'm sorry for handling Kuro so badly." Mahir responds, "I think you should stop pretending to be a master because you are so weak that you are not worthy of it." In the next scene, Mahir is walking with his friend and Subaki is following him. Subaki sits down to eat with Mahir, tells him the entry backstory about Sakuya. When Sakuya was young, his parents never supported him. Sakuya's sister had also died because of their parents' behavior. She died by jumping off the roof, but Sakuya's parents threatened him, saying, "If you tell the police the truth, I will kill you too." Unable to bear all this, when Sakuya grew up, he was about to die, but Subaki saved his life, which is why he became his minion. Subaki explains that when a dying person drinks a vampire's blood, they become his minion, and then he laughs at Mahir for not knowing this. As he leaves, he says, "I'm not in the mood to fight today." Mahir could not ask Subaki to return Sakuya, and he blamed himself for not understanding the pain Sakuya was going through. The next day, when Mahir goes to school, he asks about Sakuya, but no one knows anything about him. They only remember Sakuya's nature, but not his face. Mahir realizes how all this happening. A few days later, at a festival, we see Sakuya coming in a mask. All his friends fuss by him, but no one recognizes him. However, Sakuya is surprised to see a board behind them that says, "We are waiting for Sakuya." While he is observing this, Kuro flies and lands on his face, and Mahir also see him, but Sakuya starts running toward the roof. As he goes higher, Sakuya is confused about how to face Mahir, as he had tried to kill him. Then Mahir says, "Forget everything that has happened." Sakuya, "Remember, we are childhood friends. We did so much together in our childhood." But Sakuya replies, "I have no childhood memories." Then he starts to run away and goes to the edge of the roof. standing on the boundary saying, I am sorry Mahir. I tried to kill you and your friends. To be honest, I never wanted to do that. Mahir responds, I don't care about all that. Just then, Sakuya jumps off and Mahir jumps after him to save him. In midair, Mahir grabs Sakuya's collar and just before the fall, he summons his broom. However, after a while, Mahir loses his balance and falls down. After falling, both of them laugh about how Mahiru still cannot control his power, but then suddenly Sakuya starts crying and says that he wanted to spend more moments like this with him. After that, Sakuya mentioned that when he was younger, he blamed himself for his sister's death, but then Subaki was the one who told him that it was not his fault. Subaki also told Sakuya that whenever he remembers him in any situation, he will come to him. Even when he was about to die, Subaki saved him. Because of this, Sakuya feels he can do anything for Subaki. Mahiru thinks that just as his uncle plays a role in his life, Subaki plays a similar role in his life. Then Mahiru tells Sakuya that he does everything under Subaki's pressure and he promises to free him from that. Sakuya replies that Mahiru has already done so much for him and he does not need to do anything more. Then Sakuya moves as far away from Mahiru as possible, saying that he was the first friend who stood by him and extended a hand of friendship. Saying all this, he is crying. In the next scene, we see Mahiru, who is frustrated, telling Kuro to give him ways to become stronger. In the next scene, we see Mahiru and Kuro waiting for a festival where there will be fire shows. Suddenly, a mysterious man appeared and handed them a suitcase, saying that they should deposit it at lost and found section because he does not know where it belongs. Right after handing over the suitcase, the mysterious man disappears. However, Mahiru does not doubt much and starts walking alone toward the lost and found counter. On his way, Mahiru bumps into a man with golden hair who is carrying a very large box. When Mahiru asks what is this, the man replies that it is a coffin for vampires. Mahiru cannot believe this, but he gets distracted by a huge explosion happening right where he was heading. Mahiru quickly realizes that the suitcase is about to explode as well. He does not know how to move it away without harming anyone. He cannot summon Kuro in front of the golden haired boy either, but then he decided to believe in that boy and summons Kuro in front of him. Kuro throws him high up into the air and Mahiru is worried that there might be a timer in it and that it might explode when it falls. As it falls, they hear the sound of it exploding, but we see the golden haired boy had managed to catch the bomb inside his coffin just in time, preventing the explosion. Mahiru asks the boy to tell him the truth about who he is. The boy introduces himself as Tetsu, the owner of a hot spring. Suddenly they hear something moving inside the coffin. When it's open, a bat flies out. Kuro easily recognizes it as a vampire of pride. The vampire of pride had handled the explosion and mentioned that this could have been Subaki's plan to kill people by blasting in the middle of them, but he says that is not just a challenge for Mahiru. In the next scene, when Mahiru and Kuro return home, someone comes out from inside the house and pulls Mahiru in, leaving Kuro outside. Kuro realizes that something is about to go wrong again. Where the gate opens again, a magic laser is aimed at Kuro. On the other side, Mahir meets a guy named Suzuki who says, I am not your enemy. Suzuki also adds, don't mistake me for your enemy because I can help you to kill Subaki. So Mahir, would you like to join me? Because Subaki is a threat not just to vampires but to humans as well. Suzuki says a lot of things, including that if you have any doubts, I am ready to tell you everything. I need your help to defeat Subaki's minion and Subaki himself. At the point, Mahir's mind changes because one of Subaki's minion is Sakuya, whom he needs to save. As she had made a promise to him, Suzuki acknowledges this and says, yes, there is a minion named Sakuya. But Mahir, your childhood friendship should have nothing to do with this because we need to kill her. Mahir gets angry and says, don't even touch Sakuya. Suzuki replies, I understand your feelings, but I am very strict when it comes to business. There are total of 50 doors and only one of them is the exit. If you want, you can leave from here. And yes, hurry up because if you delay, you may never see your vampire again. As Kuro is currently struggling with the most expert vampire hunter. On the other side, Mahir in anger starts heading toward the doors, but he could not find the real door. Suzuki laughs and says, it will take you about a day to check all the doors. By then, Kuro will have distanced him from you. And if you did not know, let me tell you that if a master and vampire go too far apart, the master will be die. Mahir has has only two options, either find the right door or work with Suzuki. Mahir never wants to work with such a useless team, which is why he starts searching for the door. But no matter how hard he tries, he cannot find it. Then he gets an idea. He summons his broom and creates a tornado in the middle, marking a hole in the roof. Suzuki says, "Wow, great! You found the real door." Since Mahir found the door, and he lets him go without any hindrance. On the other side, Kuro is being attacked by three people. Kuro is dodging their bullets with great difficulty. A couple of bullets hit him, but he keeps running. In the midst of it, he gets caught, but somehow he escapes. When Kuro reaches the riverside, one of the hunters says, "We have caught Mahir." Hearing this, Kuro gets distracted and falls into an attack. They are about to shoot Kuro, but just then Mahir arrives flying on his broom and grabs Kuro, taking him away. The next day, Mahir calls a meeting inviting Tetsu and Misano. However, neither of them takes his meeting seriously. After a while, Misano tells Mahir about the information he does not know regarding vampire and masters. Mahir says, "We might find out something from the vampire of Enbe because he seems very knowledgeable." Suddenly, Misano says, "No, we should not take any help from the vampire of Enbe. I don't trust that guy at all." After a while, Tetsu and his vampire bring information. A very dangerous man is roaming in the market. When Mahir and Kuro see this man, Kuro says, "Be a little cautious." So Mahir decides to quietly follow him. Mahir sees that he is capturing an animal. His love for animals awakens and he starts chasing after him to save the animal. The man also goes into cover and has seen Mahir, which is why he is waiting for him. When Mahir arrives, the man suddenly asks him, "Quickly tell me, are you an angel or a demon?" But Mahir does not understand anything and Kuro's face also looks very weird. Then the man uses his power and summons a magical piano. With the sound of that piano, the man realizes that Kuro is a demon and suddenly starts attacking Kuro, kicking him up. Mahir quickly summons his broom and flies up to save Kuro. After reaching the top, Mahir manages to save Kuro and gives him his blood to regain his lost strength. After that, Mahir asks, "Why did you harm my partner?" He also tells that man to release the animal that was captured. But when he releases the animal, it turns out to be a vampire, the vampire of greed. Then the vampire of greed says, "The man who is with me is named Ligard, who is my master, and I am with him because he thinks I am an angel." Ligard then says, "I considered him as a demon and I hate him." They both start fighting. Mahir is happy because he has found another ally to fight Subaki. Vampire of Greed says, "You are mistaken. We are not your allies at all. To be honest, you don't need an ally because Kuro the greatest vampire and can handle everything alone if he wants." Then the Vampire of Greed also says, "I have not forgiven Kuro because he did something similar to me." I realized that something had happened between them before. Just before they start fighting, Mahir suffers them and asks, "Can you help me?" But they refuse and leave. When Mahir returns home, he is shocked to see that guy on the TV playing piano and tells everyone that he is the master of vampire and of greed. Misano says it's better to stay away from the vampire of greed because he gets bored of his master and he kills him. But Mahir does not listen to him because he needs to save that man. He learns that the man playing piano named Leek is a very famous piano artist. When Mahir is at the concert hall, he sees the same man who had handed him the explosive bag. Mahir realizes the Subaki is trying to kill Leek. On the other side where the concert is happening, all the audience members are actually Subaki's minions. When Mahir arrives there, he sees that all the minions are already dead. This shows that the Vampire of Greed is also very powerful. Meanwhile, the Vampire of Greed has already started attacking Leek, who his own master. Leek kicks the vampire from behind, but then the vampire has already kicked him back. The Vampire of Greed laughs and says, "Don't worry, normal people are less powerful than Vampire's master." The Vampire of Greed also tells Mahir, "Order Kuro. He can kill everyone alone." Mahir says Kuro cannot handle everything alone. He also needs some support. Then the Vampire of Greed attacks Mahir, but Kuro saves him. Vampire of Greed then decided to tell Mahir the story of 7 vampires. A long time ago, an organization called C3 ordered the killing of a man. There was a voting among the 7 vampires where I and 2 other vampires were against the murder, while the other 3 vampires agreed to do it. So what to do next? we left that to the Vampire of Sloth, which is Kuro. He was telling the story when Kuro started realizing his aura. The Vampire of Greed says, "So do you want to hide your mistakes from your master?" Kuro's murderous instinct was being to surface, and both were about to fight. When Mahir calls Kuro, Kuro looks at Mahir, and for the first time Mahir feels that Kuro is not under his control at all. On other side, Leek has recovered and intervenes to stop fight between two vampires, takes Mahir's broom and turns it to pin Kuro against the wall. Seeing Leek come in, the Vampire of Greed goes to attack him, but then we see something like a werewolf coming from outside to stop both of them. After a while, we see Mahiro checking on Kuro, who appears a bit strange, which will be explained later in the next scene. We see Vampire of Greed and suddenly Subaki appears behind him. In the following scene, we see Mahir, who has finally returned home, where all his friends are angry with him because he left without saying anything. Misano says that things could happen much worse, but it's good that you brought a minion of Subaki's here. We then learn that Mahir has captured a minion of Subaki. However, the minion name is Liak. Misano then says since this is Subaki's minion, he cannot fully trust him. Mahir responds that he feels Subaki will definitely come to retrieve his minion. After all, no matter how bad he is, according to Sakuya, he would never leave his minions alone. When Mahir tries to talk to Kuro about this, Kuro quietly walks away. Mahir follows Kuro and asks him what happened, why he is behaving this way. Seeing Kuro's expression, Mahir realizes that he is not his right mind. Since the Vampire of Greed mentioned his past, Kuro's mood had changed. Mahir then directly asks Kuro some questions. What is C3? Did you finally agree to this operation or not? As he asks this question, he sees Kuro suddenly transforming into something very strange. Mahir is shocked but then gathers a lot of courage and orders him to return to his cat form. Following Mahir's order, Kuro starts to follow him. Both of them head home. In the next scene, we see Mahir with the minion he captured. He asks, "So do you consider Subaki is your enemy?" But Mahir replies, "I don't see him as an enemy. I see him as a person I need to stop." The minion then says, "Mahir, I need to tell you something. There is another right-handed man named Hagan, and he is especially very strong. You should be careful of him. The other weak minions don't even want to fight." The next morning, when Mahir wakes up, he receives a call asking about the Vampire of Greed, who has been missing since last night, and his master Leet is quickly becoming weaker. If he is not found soon, Leet will become very weak and die. Suddenly, a red-haired man appeared behind Leet. Before Leet can understand anything, the man attacks him lethally. We then learn that this is Subaki's right-handed man Hagan, who is easily overpowering Leet. Leet tries to fight back, but he cannot do anything against Hagan, who says that your Vampire of Greed is currently being crushed under Subaki in a very dirty way. Leet replies, "I don't care about that demon, but I won't lose to you." Hagan, ready to kill Leet, activates his red aura, which Mahir sees from distance. Mahir wants to rush to Kuro's sides, but Kuro tells him to call for a backup first. However, Mahir does not listen and says he does not have time for that. In the next scene, Mahir arrives not knowing that it is Hagan he is facing and tells him that let Leet go. After that, Kuro and Mahir get ready to fight, but Kuro still has not able to summon his past and cannot fight. Suddenly, Kuro transforms into a black crystal ball and leaving him completely stunned, and he wonders if this ball could be Kuro. Mahir tries to summon his broom for defense, but it also gets sucked into the crystal ball, leaving him defenseless. Hagan says, "Fight between Leet and me is not over yet." After seeing Leet attack, Hagan is somewhat impressed and thinks he should get serious. Hagan dodges all of Leet's attacks and affects him badly. Mahir then tries his best to stop Hagan, but Hagan knocks him unconscious and leaves. When Mahir opens his eyes, he finds Misano and Tetsu there along with Leah. Mahir apologizes to everyone because Kuro had told him to take backup, but he did not listen. The other vampire can feel Kuro's energy from that ball. Misano finds a phone lying around which belonged to Subaki. A call comes in from Subaki where he says he wants the phone back. Misano replies that they won't return the phone. If he wants it back, he must let Leet and Leek go. Subaki responds that the phone is not so important that he would make such a big deal. Misano then says that's not all. We also have your minion Liak. If you let both of them go, I will give you these two things as well. However, Subaki shows no interest in this kills and hangs up. In the next scene, they hold a meeting where they discuss going out to rescue Leek and Lit that night. However, Mahir is not taken along because he is currently does not have Kuro, making him useless. Mahir himself considered useless. After everyone leaves, Mahir cries alone, saying he is truly very weak. On one side is he, and on the other side is Lake, who is fighting Hagan even without his vampire. Seeing Mahir crying, Kuro suddenly appears on the ball, and however, Kuro also does not know how he appeared like that. Mahir tells Kuro not to worry, he will get him out of there. Later, when he tells his friends about this, Tetsu brings a saw to cut the ball. However, Mahir refuses, making Kuro think that his master is very wise. But then Mahir says, I am his master, so I will cut this ball. However, it proves to be of no use. After that, we see the same whale. Whole monster has also arrived. We have seen this whale before. It brings a strange type of liquid that reduces vampires' powers. Then it tests on it vampire, providing that it indeed reduces their powers. The man says, I got this liquid from the Vampire of Envy. Mahir asks, so should not we still talk to him? Misano refuses, explaining that for a while they should forget about the past. In this category, the Vampire of Envy can help them, so why not take it? After that, Mahir sets out to meet the Vampire of Envy. He is sitting on a train deep in thought. Suddenly, Subaki appears and says, what kind of master are you, that you could not have saved your vampire? After that, Subaki attacks him, but then we see Mahir jumping off the train, realizing he was seeing an illusion. Mahir thinks that Subaki is also going where he is currently heading, so he reaches there first. Upon arrival, he meets a crazy dealer who turns out to be a scientist. Mahir is unsure how to talk to him, but eventually asks, and the scientist takes Mahir home, writing his name on his head because he cannot remember it. After this, the dealer that Mahir was working with also arrives here. He introduces himself as Me and mentions that he is Misano's brother. Mahir thanks him because Misano was never friends with anyone before, but currently he is one or two friends. After this, Mahir shows Kuro to that crazy scientist who says this is a very interesting case. He takes him to his laboratory. After examining him, he states that they cannot do anything because this is the first case they are seeing. Then Me asks Mahir if he thinks he can break Subaki alone with Kuro. Mahir replies that he could have directly said that he could kill Subaki, but why did he say to break Subaki instead? He explains that they can never fully kill a vampire. They can only break it. They can do this by first breaking the thing they initially gave to the vampire, which reminds Mahir that he had given Kuro a bell first. After this, the crazy scientist gives Mahir some juice and tells him to drink it. He says that juice will help him master Kuro's mind. Mahir drinks the juice and suddenly becomes unconscious. As he falls, he can only see the pill that Kuro was given. In the next scene, we see all of Mahir's friends who were planning how to defect Subaki. They have already figured out Subaki's real location. They estimate that Law and Leek are in the same large building, but they will never be together because the power of a vampire and a monster together would increase. Therefore, they deduce that Law will be upstairs and Leek will be downstairs. They decided to discuss themselves to enter the building. Here, the whale master named Crane arrives as a very wealthy person. Using his intelligence, manages to create duplicate card for Subaki's room. Now they can enter Subaki's room without him noticing. Meanwhile, Misano dressed in black is in lift, but Sakuya is also there. Sakuya recognizes Misano, so he secretly presses the basement button, causing the lift to go down. Misano calls Crane to come to the basement as well. However, Crane is not very good in this type of fight. After reaching the basement, he finds that Law is nowhere to be seen, which means Law is not the basement. In the next scene, we see Tetsu, who has reached the upper room within coffin. However, all of Subaki's champions are already there to stop Tetsu. On the other side, we see Subaki in a forest. As he walks through the forest, he encounters many whale mascots. Subaki thinks that they are weak and won't be able to handle him for long. long. However, they are not so weak that they cannot handle Subaki for a while. Subaki shows the whale mascot that he has the key that holds Law and Leak captive. The whale mascot demands that he give them the key. Subaki asks where his minion is. Subaki asks where his minion is, and they reply that his minion is with them, but he must give them the key first. Subaki refuses to give them the key, goes off to search for minion. However, Subaki ultimately cannot find his minion. Nevertheless, he states that still has plenty of time, can search for Leak later. On the other side, you see Mahir inside Kuro's mind where he meets the cat that had given him the magical broom. When Mahir asks where Kuro is, the cat replies that Kuro does not want to meet him. However, Mahir does not consider this at all. He thinks, why would not Kuro want to meet him? The cat then takes Mahir to an underwater location. When he swims there, a old memory of Kuro is revealed. 7 vampires are sitting together discussing whether they should kill a special man assigned by C3. We learn that the special man they are discussing is none other than the one who created the vampires. 3 vampires argue that he should not be killed because he created them, while the other 3 insist that he forcefully made them. Vampires should be killed. Kuro is asked to make a decision, but he remains silent, quietly leaves. Kuro then goes to kill that man, but does not want Mahir to see this. As Mahir watches, some black spines appear in front of him, and suddenly the cats appear again. The cats asks Mahir if he wants to see more of Kuro's memories, then takes him to a room where all of Kuro's memories are stored. However, Kuro does not want Mahir to see these memories, so Mahir does not look at them. He then goes to room where Kuro is kept. Kuro is crying, tells him that he never wanted to be such a bad vampire. He has done very wrong things. Mahir responds that yes, what did has wrong was wrong. What did was wrong. If he has been thinking what is wrong all these years, then it must be indeed be wrong. But Kuro, this is your past. Remember that you are not in your past, you are in your present. It is not the time to dwell on the past mistakes. There are many things we still need. We do not do those, you will regret that too. Kuro understands Mahir's word and finally sheds all his darkness, returning to his cat form. On the other side, we see Law and Leak, the same place but in different rooms. So guys, and we will end today's video here. After this, there are many more interesting stories. How did he become a vampire? Why did Subaki become a villain? Why does everyone want to kill Subaki? Or know all this? Now please leave a comment. I will definitely bring part 2 for you.